Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you all for coming to this month's edition of Poem Jam with Kim Shuck. I'm John Smalley, and I'm a librarian with the San Francisco Public Library. While we're waiting for everyone to join us, I want to take a moment to acknowledge our community and to tell you about a few of our upcoming programs. On behalf of the Public Library, we want to welcome you to the unceded land of the Ohlone tribal people and to acknowledge the many Ramaytush Ohlone tribal groups and families as the rightful stewards of the lands on which we reside. Our library is committed to uplifting the names of these families and community members, and we encourage you to learn more about first-person rights. San Francisco Public Library's Summer Stride Literacy Program began in June and will run through August. Summer Stride is the library's annual summer learning, reading, and exploration program for all ages and abilities. Join us for author talks, reading lists, book giveaways, nature experiences, and more. You can register today by visiting our website, sfpl.org. This Sunday, July 11th, SFPL is hosting the 40th Annual Northern California Book Awards. These awards recognize the best public works of 2020 by Northern California authors. On July 13th, author Jonathan Taplin and cultural critic Gail Marcus discussed Taplin's new book, The Magic Years, Scenes from a Rock and Roll Life. And on July 20th, Dr. Keisha Middlemass of Howard University and sociologist Reuben Jonathan Miller of the University of Chicago discussed the politics, race, and policies of incarceration and reentry. Lastly, on July 28th, please join us for a time travel journey to the mid-century nightlife of San Francisco via the unique letter forms and designs of matchbooks and neon signs associated with legacy businesses. This ends my poetry announcements. Now I'd like to turn the microphone over to Kim Shuck, San Francisco's beloved poet and the Poem Jam series organizer. Please welcome Kim Shuck.
Thank you, John. Thank you, library, and thank you, everybody who's here this evening. I was really excited. I attended the reading of the Revolutionary Poets Brigade, Building Socialism to Fighting Fascism book, and it was such a beautiful reading that I felt like I wanted more of that. And so I've invited some of the authors for this to come share their words with us. I think what I really love to do would be to start with Kitty Costello, who Kitty is a lot of things. I'm not going to read bios. It's terrible. I didn't even start out doing it. I promised them that I'd try to read their bios, and then I'm not going to. How's that? But Kitty's a really good friend, an incredible publisher of sort of generally marginalized voices. And it has one of my favorite poetry reading voices of all time. So if you could share your poem with us, Kitty.
Thank you, Kim. I just want to do a little plug. Summer Stride on July 22nd is going to feature this book that I co-edited this past year. Muslim American Writers at Home, Stories, Essays, and Poems of Identity, Diversity, and Belonging. If you, like most people, don't know any Muslims, this is a really good way to start to get to know some. Anyway, July 22nd, check the library website on Summer Stride. This is two Fighting Fascism acrostics. Freeing ourselves from us and them ideology would be a good start. Hatred hijacks hearts. That's its craft. So let's inspect the divide carefully again. No human is bad without a backstory. Let's go deeper to the root of wrongs. Let us feel and avert all heart hardening and attend beyond justified outrage. See and tend to whatever needs breaking without becoming shattered or cruel or gone. It's an alchemy of warrior spirit as yet unseen. Make yourself a new kind of sword. For every child born, invited or not, of whatever creed and breed, grant each one their basic needs, thwart childhood harm, abuse, neglect, trauma that snarls itself into exponential grown-up insanity, inhumanity doomed to repeat until none but the tone deaf can hear good people staying thunderously silent again. Front load goodness. Bestow abundant blessings on each new self arriving here and upon their parents. Cultivate humans who know what love is and is not, and who know the sound of truth being spoken, the magic of harmony being sung. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kitty. I think I'd like to go next to Lisbit, who has hosted some incredible poetry readings since I started becoming aware of it, and also just some great events at the SF Maritime Museum, and an excellent organizer and a very fine poet. Please read your poem, Lisbit.
Oh, thank you. This is called Flowers of Zeus. These aren't flowers for bows, buttoneers, mother's bouquets, doctor's altruism, or president's luck. These flowers of Zeus rise from roots alive underground. They are never dormant. Workers' hands and faces, reddened by their labor as they scrape and scratch a living from under capitalism's thumb. Red expressions of pain before crimson rises, or like unearthed passion, compelling us to live lovingly. Carnation is a word of honor, standing for blood embodied, for remembering and celebrating the people's sacrifices. The people of Portugal toppled their capitalist city, ended the dictatorship by peaceful reincarnation. The red carnation is the joy of the Portuguese people, who are the midwives of their democracy, a community tested and now evolved. On April 25th, let's emulate the wakened power of the Portuguese people as we raise red carnations everywhere. Thank you.
So good, you guys. Lots of anthologies that I've featured are really spotty, and I felt like this one was particularly strong all the way through. I'm really grateful for you all being here. Let's see, Scott, can we have you read next? Scott Bird is an incredible poet and a really great organizer, wonderful support for projects that are happening, and also an incredible painter whose work I hope to see more of as time goes on. Scott, please share your poem.
Thank you, Kim. I have another flower poem. This one is called Children of a Whitman Dahlia. I am a red dahlia, a Mexican daisy growing, budding from the crown of my own head and tangle hair. You pluck the red blossom and pin it to your lapel, above the dangling linen broadside and proud hammer sickle swinging. We remember carnations, roses, and other red proses infinite in their strength when taped to the tip of a razor fountain pen. Fight by the cover of the dark word night, for joy is an upward struggle, a radical bow and arrow of lip and tongue flexing into smile. Fascism can only frown, its porous heart soaked and drowned in the blind glaze of power's greed, and greed's power needs only to read your lips and remember the word always. We have it within ourselves to dissemble all factions today, and in the first word of the first line of every stanza written in our poems, I, you, we, children of Whitman's best Dahlia, fight fascism always. Thank you.
Wonderful. Judy, can you share yours with us, please? You need to unmute, darling.
Forebearers, 1947. A baseball player, a Negro Leagues infielder who had faced court-martial in the Army for refusing to move to the back of the bus, became the first Black to play in the major leagues. And oh, did they torture and harass him. But Jackie Robinson never lost his dignity. 1959, a basketball player, one of the best, boycotted a game in the American South because he and other Black Minnesota Lakers were denied rooms and service. And oh, it wasn't a popular decision, but Elgin Baylor never relented. 1966, a good-looking man, a boxer, told the world he was the greatest. He was. But when he stood up for his religion, his name changed. Oh, they came down hard on him. But Muhammad Ali never wavered. 1968, two Olympic runners among the fastest in the world raised their black gloved fists in protest as the Star-Spangled Banner played. And oh, it cost them plenty. But Tommy Smith and John Carlos never recanted or backed down. Remember their names now and forever, and add the names of athletes they inspired to stand up or kneel and speak out to insist on justice no matter the consequences. Remember Arthur Ashe, Jim Brown, Larry Doby, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, Bubba Wallace, Colin Kaepernick, LeBron James, and other NBA players, and WNBA players, and other women athletes, and players in nearly every sport around the world who wear Black Lives Matter on shirts. Tell everyone about them.
Thank you so much. Bobby, will you share your poem with us? Bobby Coleman is a lot of great things, but one of the things that I appreciate the most is that in moments of extreme stress, we have spent ridiculous amounts of time on the telephone together. And I think, I don't know about you guys. I have friends that I see a lot, and I have friends I don't talk to as often. But the people who are there when they're there. And anyway, please share your poem.
Oh, thank you, Kim. It's been my pleasure, and that's very generous of you to say so. Thank you so much. The poem is titled, Why We Still Ask. Why we still ask, where is the love, the real kind of love that we give to ourselves when we're connected, when we are taught how our lives were once, before creatures lied and warred over trees, sat in the White House, and stormed the Capitol, encouraged by anglers of mischief and madness. Why we still ask, Where is the love? Since the new prez says how the numbers roll back, but merely to W's. That billionaires rock if they share a few cents. That we're losing the race, so let's get tough. That we're in a trade war and have now had enough. So we ask again, why cancel love? Why wipe out art? Not offer the class? Why turn the art room into a sty of stemful dung and racial myopia, missing the point, thumping our chests, announcing ourselves narcissogastically, and why we still ask, where is the love, is because of this. When we jilted the poet and broke her heart, when we did that, the whole simple reason for being together, for our full engagement, our knee at the altar, our exchange of rings, was a lousy trick. A mask was used, an impostor was paid, a betrothal to fascism, not social love. And the only way out, since we still have to ask, is to return to the poem, our first declaration that we love each other, and will not sell the house or the house of Whitman, Emerson, and Thoreau, and will marry in truth and escape with our muse, not the fake ones still there. We have 3 ushers beaming, giving proof through the night that our hearts are still free. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Greg Pond. I first heard Greg at the Sacred Grounds poetry reading, and then we started seeing each other at lots of other readings. I think he is really one of the finest poets in the city, and one of the undersung ones, and I'm really delighted to have you here, Greg. Thank you. Please share your poem.
Thank you, Kim. Reconstruction Blues 2. Back in the day, after Sambo became Django and we were legally no longer slaves, Reconstruction was dangled before us like a carrot, but we never managed to grab it, though it seemed to be inches away. After centuries of servitude, our men murdered, emasculated, our children sold, our women raped. In order to ensure our survival, we had to grin to bear the pain before we labored through birth of a nation, feeling the pinch of derision and hate, years after burning crosses, repeated lynchings, and Klansmen's rage. Sad to say, we're still reconstructing, still recovering after restless decades, with hell much closer than heaven, while equality got lost in space. Black woman and man made some gains, but never better than second place. Our lives continually marginalized, victims of an economic system based on power, class, and race. We're sick of singing Kumbaya. We're tired of rhyming do, re, mi, waiting for some Liberty Bell to toll.
Greg, you've somehow muted again.
I'm sorry.
The last line we heard was, and Liberty Bell toll, Liberty Bell.
We're sick of singing Kumbaya. We're tired of rhyming do, re, mi, waiting for some Liberty Bell to toll to finally set us free, to save us from the choke of the rope, the pressure of the knee, from under the thumb or the wrong end of the gun in the hands of racist police. No more chance of we shall overcome. Now we rant, no justice, no peace. Thank you.
I loved that the first time I heard it, and I loved it even more this time. Thank you so much. Okay. I think the next person I'd like to hear would be Mahnaz Badihian. Mahnaz is an incredible international poet with many, many publications to her credit in more than one language. And please welcome Mahnaz. Please share your poem.
Yes, hi everyone, and good to be here. I will read one poem in Farsi, very small poem, and then one small poem in English. سایه گذشتیم از کوچه های خالی و سرد، از سایه مردمان تنها در جاده های جنگ زده، از کنار درختان فرو افتاده، از پنجره های شکسته و درهای ترک خورده. میگذریم از کنار کفش های گم شده، راه میرویم روی پوست سرد شب و میاندیشیم به شبی چنین دراز و سایه هایی چنین سرد. Awareness. Our hands may be short to search those aching hearts. Our feet may be weak to explore those bloody lands. But our voice is loud and strong. Our heart is ready to accept the pain from the burning hearts of mothers. Let us pray to trees and rivers, to our children. Let us pray to the sun and the moon, to raindrops, not to the criminal nature of capitalism and kings. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahnaz.
Here.
I think a good next person would be Bruce Isaacson. Bruce Isaacson has been a poet laureate of a city, has been a publisher, has put forward the voices of a lot of different people, has worked with some legends, and well, Bruce Isaacson, please share your poem.
Thank you, Kim. I had to miss the first reading because I was running a reading at the same time. So I'm really glad to be part of a reading for this book. And I was thinking about the pandemic at the time, and I suppose that's what got me. Stanzas for heroes of our time. At the hospital where Walt Whitman tended and brought peach preserves to fresh, war-wounded men, they're dying again. Doing it en masse this time. Ventilators pounding out a ritual rhythm to simulate the miracle of breath. Nurse and doctor stand on each side, working. Doctor, her hands move precise, careful, firm, over patient, not conscious, but not without hope. Sometimes it seems breath has been knocked out of the nation. But also there are heroes, the helping professions who've long quietly stood guard at the gates of despair. So many, so unassuming. Nurses, doctors, EMTs, others who risk all to establish some dominion for benevolence. And courage. Let's not forget the courage of workers who walk into contagion with healing in mind. What the nation most needs, they will offer, without fanfare, unpriced, unironic, under empty sky or God, under whatever belief you may have, they offer proof, limitless and lasting, practicing their craft, but not crafty, without scent of guile or irony. They offer what most we need, the kindness of strangers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Gail Mitchell is kin to me and a very good friend. And I'm for a while there, I wasn't hearing you read as much, and I'm so glad you're out in it. And please share your poem. You
First,
need to, yeah, there you go.
First, I want to say is Judith, you started to make me cry, and then it just continued. So I will try to get through this. Photographs of American history to be. Not a scrapbook for children. Not photos for polite company. These photos define America. Woman running down the road naked, napalm attack in Vietnam. From a book called The Movement, 3 men, 1 woman, a group lynching. White audience gathers, ready for a Sunday picnic. Young man poses for the camera, his hands resting on the shoulders of his girlfriend. Eye gouged, beaten, thrown into the Tallahatchie River. A cotton gin fan around his neck. Photo of a young boy, barely 14, in his open casket. His mother dared to let America see what they had done to her boy Emmett. Wounded knee, My Lai, sow seeds of sorrow and regret. Embracing those feelings do nothing for me. They've been replaced with unspeakable rage. Still, I speak them. We have witnessed your bloodlust, America. America, you cannot sink your sins deep enough to forget you are a bloodthirsty nation. We have seen your descendants, calloused souls, unfettered by the deaths of others. Children dying in forced detention, mothers and fathers whose babies have been stolen. We have been broken down and remade. Cast not in your image, America, but in our own. And these are the photos that help me to see you as you are.
As always, wow. John Curl has been one of the people that I've kind of looked to for an example of being an organizer with an appropriately adjusted ego, which is probably a big thing to say. But we had an interaction in the first book that I helped edit that was just really generous on his part, and I will always appreciate him for it. John, can you share your poem, please?
Thank you, Kim. They shall not pass. It begins with a quote from Martin Luther King. Be loving enough to absorb evil and understanding enough to turn an energy into a friend. Downtown, I walked along a warm night, everyone out, it was bustling, women in colorful dresses, dogs sniffing each other, children hopping over the cracks in the sidewalk. Then the street collapsed at my feet. I staggered back, lampposts, vehicles, people cascading down into a vast pit. Falling, they were all disappearing into darkness. I couldn't see bottom. From the shadows belched fumes and smoke. I was choking. I knew that to breathe those toxic fumes meant death. Then I awoke, shaken. They say that the thoughts you have right after a dream are really part of the dream itself. I thought about my grandfather, an immigrant to America, of how his dreams collapsed into the Great Depression, fascism, World War II. Then suddenly I was downtown again. From down the block, in the middle of the street, women, men, children, a long procession, all ages and descriptions, colorfully dressed, carrying banners and signs, chanting as they paraded toward me. There were so many of them. They kept coming and coming. As they approached, I realized the signs and chants weren't in English, but sounded familiar. I'd heard that chant before, though I didn't recall from where. Then suddenly, I understood the words, "No pasarán," they shall not pass. It was from the Spanish Civil War of the 1930s, before World War II. It had been a rallying cry of the populace defending Madrid against Franco's fascists, brought back to America by the Abraham Lincoln Brigade and other international brigades of volunteers fighting in Spain to stop fascism before it engulfed all of Europe and the world. As the line of marchers arrived at where I stood on the edge of the sidewalk, a woman at the front handed me a sign, and without another thought, I stepped off the curb and was swept into the march. I felt exhilarated, striding side by side with them, chanting, "No pasarán, they shall not pass." Then we stopped short. The intersection was blocked by men in black military gear with helmets, shields, guns, truncheons, and behind them, a group in white robes holding banners painted with rune-like symbols. And behind those were armored vehicles and uniforms as far as I could see. I wanted to get out of there fast, but I was fixated. I couldn't move. They started towards us. Then I awoke again. I lay there a few minutes, thinking about my dream. I wondered what my grandpa would think of the world now.
Thank you, John. Barbara Paschke, who is an incredible translator of work and has been part of just some really spectacular readings that I've attended. I can't wait to hear you. Please share your poem.
Thank you. This is a poem by a Colombian poet, Fernando Rendon. And I don't know if I should read it in both languages. I don't know. Yes, you think? Okay. El hombre que lee tranquilo. El hombre que lee tranquilo esta mañana en las orillas del lago Onkiem, en Hanoi, en tiempos de paz, sabe que bajo sus rizadas aguas duerme la espada de Leloa, que hizo retroceder a los conquistadores en un tiempo difícil para el país. Lo sabe también el templo de la montaña de Jan, la dulce anciana que me ofrece sonriendo a mi paso una naranja amarilla como un pequeño sol. Sabe que los jemeres, los mongoles y los japoneses ya se fueron y que los chinos que ocuparon sus tierras por 1000 años no regresarán. El hombre silencioso que habló esta noche en la Galería de Arte de la capital recuerda que un guerrillero vietnamita fue abatido por un tiro de pistola de un ocupante francés, junto al muro de la casa de sus padres en la aldea Shuck, donde los sembradores de arroz escriben poesía. El pescador arrojó ayer su anzuelo al estanque en espera de un pez. Preserva en su memoria aquel mediodía de abril, cuando Le Fan Juan derribó con su tanque la puerta del Palacio de Saigón, mientras caían del cielo racimos de asesinos que intentaban huir en helicópteros. Entonces los habitantes del norte y del sur, separados por el enemigo, pudieron cruzar el puente de Yanluang para abrazarse de nuevo y poner fin a su dolor. De esta manera pudo reconstruirse el país. La sangre derramada permanece en la memoria, pues ha llegado al mundo para permanecer en él. Sobre la piedra viva se erige la imagen de los siglos, pero el mundo no aprende la lección. Todavía no cree que puede terminar la pesadilla. Querido mundo, escucha de nuevo al corazón alado. Con siglos de horror se paga el nihilismo. Un pueblo atraviesa los siglos para hablarte. Su leyenda circula sin cesar las arterias del gran cuerpo. Como el vivir no se olvida nunca el lenguaje de los libres. Respira mucho más hondo que la muerte. Una nueva lengua reconquistará las posiciones perdidas. La siembra de colores se restaura con la sangre del sacrificio de los pueblos. Si el amor pudo reconstituir tantos desastres, asimismo recobrará en su antiguo esplendor al universo. So, this is called The Man Who Calmly Reads. The man who calmly reads this morning on the banks of Lake Hoan Kiem in Hanoi in peaceful times knows that beneath its wavy waters sleeps the sword of Le Roi, who made the conquerors retreat during a difficult time for the country. He also knows the Jade Mountain Temple. The sweet old woman who, smiling as I walk by, offered me a yellow orange like a little sun, knows that the Ham, the Khmer, the Mongolians, and the Japanese are already gone, and that the Chinese who occupied these lands for 1,000 years will not return. The quiet man who spoke tonight in the Capitol's art gallery remembers that a Vietnamese soldier was taken down by a gunshot from a French occupier next to the wall of his parents' house in the town of Chuao, where the rice farmers write poetry. The fisherman yesterday cast his hook into the pond, hoping for a fish. He keeps the memory of that April midday when Ne Van Phuong with his tank demolished the gate of the presidential palace of Saigon, while from the sky fell clusters of assassins who intended to flee in helicopters. Then the residents of the North and the South, separated by the enemy, could cross the bridge of Yanluang to again embrace and put an end to their sorrow. In this way, the country could rebuild itself. The blood spilled remains in the memory, and it has come to the world to remain here. Atop the living stone, the image of the centuries is raised, but the world doesn't learn the lesson. It still doesn't believe that it can end the nightmare. Dear world, listen again to the soaring heart. Nihilism pays the price with centuries of horror. People cross the centuries to speak to you. Its tale endlessly circulates in the arteries of the great body. As it lives, it never forgets the words of the free. It breathes much more deeply than death. A new language will take back the lost locations. The planting of colors will be restored with the blood of the people's sacrifice. If love can reconstruct so many disasters, in the same way, the universe can recover its ancient splendor. Let's hope.
Thank you, Barbara. Tureeda. Tureeda Mikell is a lot of wonderful things, an incredible storyteller, a great teacher, wonderful poet, and a great performer of her own poetry. And I've been a fan for some years now. I won't tell how many. Tureeda, please share your poem with us.
Okay. Oh, wow. It has been a time. Thank you, Kim, for inviting me. And thank you, Barbara. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. I couldn't type it out. She was calling me up, so, you know. But yeah, this piece I'm going to do is a play on words, a play on vision. Well, you'll get the idea, but I just feel that it's a repetition of what I've seen over the years, and I do have some years. Let's see. Forgive me here. I'm trying to. It's easier to see it here. Okay. Inaugur, inaugurate, rate nation, the prophecy, rate the frequency, the degree. Oh, say, can you see future inauguration? Rate nation, prophecy, foresee president, swear in solemnly, swear, solemnly, swear, solemnly, swear, right hand up, left hand down on the Bible, by the bull. He solemnly swears on the Bible, swear, solemnly swear, solemnly swear, solemnly swear in the president, set the precedent, swear in the president, set the precedent, swear, solemnly swear, solemnly swear on the Bible, go bullish, go bully, manifest destiny, nation, states, my way or the highway, in the name of my country, 'tis up with liberty and justice for just who? Just ice? For swear, solemnly swear, solemnly swear, solemnly swear to protect and defend. Dress that poem up nice, child. Don't want to hurt anybody. For the inaugurate nation, the prophecy. Oh, say, can you see? The dawn came early, didn't it? Watch them swear, solemnly swear. Watch them swear, solemnly swear. Watch them swear, solemnly swear, solemnly. And how well did you sleep last night, huh? How well were you thinking about the inauguration, inaugurating the nation, inaugurating nation, Nazi nation, in a prophecy of one nation with liberty and just ice for some, the 46th inauguration, inauguration, prophecy. Oh, say, can you see? Did you see the Bible in the Bible? The bully in the Bible. Swear, solemnly swear. Go bullish for the Bible. Swear, solemnly swear on the Bible. Going bullish in America. Take back America. Giving back America. What you thinking, cousin? Cousin, what you thinking? Going bully, going bullish, taking back, giving back to the original owners. giving back to the Indians? Right hand up, left hand down on the Bible, setting precedent for presidents, precedent for presidents. For whom? Which hand? Swear, pinky swear, pinky swear. Swear on. Slaves, obey your masters with fear. Slaves, obey your masters with fear, with fear, with fear. Obey your master, swear. Obey your master, swear. Obey your master, swear. Your master, obey your master. And before I be a slave, swear. Obey your master, swear. Obey your master, swear. One nation under dog, one nation under God, one nation, God damn. What's up? That's my dog right there. Right hand up, left hand down. Boy, down, bitch. Good doggy. Anybody get a dog for the president? Don't forget to get a dog to set the precedent for the commander-in-chief, main temporary employee. Go between, whisper, cause an effect can become a cause, reinforcing the original cause, producing the same effect with an intensified form, infinitum, until inborn, inbred, reborn, 244 years in the inauguration, inaugurs the PP code, prophet, predicate, God, promise, swearing in the president, setting up precedent, swearing in the president, commander-in-chief, temporary employee, swear, pinky swear, pinky swear, pinky swear 'em in on the Bible, go bullish, the highway or sideways, swear, solemnly swear, enmity and hate will be placed between thee, woman, and thy seed. Swear, take back America, go bullish, buy bull, go bullish, buy bull, swear, slaves obey your masters, swear, slave obey your masters, take back America, go bullish, go bully, buy bull, go bullish, buy bull, buy the bull. Don't buy what afflicts you.
See, I don't know about you guys, but I knew that was going to happen. And that was still really physical for me. Thank you so much, Tureeda. I was thinking as this was coming up, one of the reasons that I didn't put more people in the show is because I feel like each one of these things, this particular book, this particular one, more than the other ones that I've read of the Revolutionary Poets Brigade anthologies, is like every single poem is incredibly rich. And one of the things that I've learned organizing poetry readings, at least I think I've learned it, is that you want to make sure that you stop before people's rear ends go numb, but you also need to stop before the progress bar fills up in people's heads. And this whole book, for anybody watching who doesn't have a copy of it, I haven't read one piece in here that wasn't really excellent. So I recommend it very highly. And it seems to me, I get asked all kinds of questions these days about how to organize poetry, how to organize anthologies, how to do this. This is a masterclass, this particular book. It's really good. And so I have a couple of questions I want to ask because we do have a couple of minutes, which was absolutely built into my plan. You never know how that's going to work, though, right? It might fill up anyway, but I was hoping we'd have a few minutes. So I want to ask a few questions. First of all, I want to ask John Curl, how do you, as one of the people who edits anthologies, how do you decide what pieces go in? Because it's almost never just an excellence question, right? At least I don't think it is. Anyway, please.
Well, there I look at poems that are submitted in two different ways. one, as poetry, as it has to have the music of the language. It can't be, it has to be a poem. And then it has to be meaningful and politically meaningful. And, you know, and towards our theme is in the broadest sense, you know, we don't take these things in very narrow political ways, but you know, I mean, this is planetary, you know, we're in a planetary crisis.
Mhm.
You know, what we think of as socialism is basically the solution of many different things. It has many different aspects to it. You know, it's humanity. It's the best in humanity. You know, like I work with Native people on the Indigenous Peoples Committee, and you know, Native people often look to their ancestors for guidance. Well, you know, there's to some extent, our ancestors are the people who've been struggling for social justice for thousands of years in thousands of places. You know, it's like a worldwide movement, and you know, we sing songs about it. We rather than you know, killing. But back in the old days, you used to think that, well, you know, to create a more just world, you just have to kill a few bad guys. But it doesn't really work that way. You know, creating a just world is much more complicated. So you know, so we're working culturally. It's consciousness. It's a raising, a planetary, universal raising of consciousness, and it's international, and it's the voices of many different people, and we're just trying to make a contribution to that.
Thank you. Bobby, you also edit anthologies. How do you pick?
Well, just to clarify, I'm not one of the editors of this particular
None of this
anthology, and I want
Yeah.
to compliment those editors. The anthology, I agree with you, Kim. I think it's the best one that the Brigade has produced. There have been many high points along the way. There's a co-founder of the Brigade in this Zoom, Sarah Menifee, and
Who I was going to next, actually.
well, without, you know, I was going to kick it over to her, but I will say this, that when the four of us, oh, she's leaving.
I get the anthology. I didn't know I was reading. Please continue. I'll be right back.
Well, Sarah, you know, when you and I and Jack and Kathleen Williams, you know, founded the Brigade, the dream was that we would have positive outreach and positive impact along the lines that John articulated. And I think this anthology has advanced that so much. And I'm really proud of the group for having done that. And that's all I've got to say. I hope, Sarah, that you agree with that.
Oh, very much. I didn't see my name on here, so
You're not. I was going to ask you a question about
okay.
picking things,
Sorry.
and then it's that's okay. It's my plan to have you feature at a different one, but I wanted to ask you a question.
I just wasn't sure what you were. Okay.
I'm being cryptic. It's fine. I just wanted to. I just wanted to know how you know what your I knew that you were one of the founding members, and I was wondering, you know, what you thought. When you start a thing, sometimes it ends up not being what you thought it was going to be. And I was wondering what you thought it was going to be when you got started.
I wasn't sure. It just seemed like bringing poets together, you know, under the vision of being revolutionary, meaning, you know, without vision, the people perish. And so, you know, I think poets, whether they define themselves that way or not, are revolutionaries in the sense that they're imagining a new, healed, transformed world. And so the idea of having a brigade where that was the that was a stated intent, but in a very non-sectarian way, that we were all going to just join voices and see where it went. It just absolutely took off. There are 5 in this country now, and I'm maybe that many in Italy. Jack Hirschman has done a lot of the ambassadoring with that, with his travels, and he's with the World Poetry Movement now. But it's, you know, it's its own entity that really, I think, represents more than its membership. It represents a vision. I guess I keep using that word, vision. And to me, this reading was really showing it as at its strongest, what it's brought out. You know, poetry is a lonely, solitary business, you know. So this is, we joined together. Okay, I'm just rambling now.
I want to add to what Sarah said, to just add that, you know, I've traveled the country, and sometimes the idea of the Revolutionary Brigade just bounces off audiences. They're so thrilled to hear that such a thing exists, especially in places where these types of attitudes are not so ubiquitous, and they're not taken for granted. When they hear about it, it's encouraging and inspiring, especially young people, and especially in places like rural areas, like where Scott Bird comes from. And now Scott Bird is with us reading. So and one of our best, you know, no doubt one of our strongest voices, and he's from a small town in Colorado. So I think that it's kind of a dream come true in that sense. And Sarah, I couldn't agree with you more, Sarah. It comes from the collective heart.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Beautifully said.
The collective heart. There's something right there. Hey, Lisbit, I was wondering if you had something to add about the process of making.
Well, this is the first time I've done anything like this, my first editorship, and it's a good experience, and I'm really pleased that so many people are pleased with the outcome. But I'll say the poems in the anthology have a really broad base. There's all kinds of little niches that people write about. And to speak to something that I kind of work on in another group, the revolutionary class is into all of those different things. And what's wonderful about this anthology is that it collectivizes it. Everybody's voice kind of coming together into one theme, one overall volume. And so while the details and the stories and the perspectives of every poem may be different and diverse and all that fabulous stuff, it's really all about the same thing in a way. So that's the, you know, that's the joy I find in it, is that we're really doing something all together and pulling something together. And that's a wonderful feeling. So.
Thanks, Lisbeth. That was really a good insight. Scott, do you have something to say about working on these things?
Well, last year I was the editor of the Overthrowing Capitalism anthology, and this year I kind of stepped out of that role to work on the graphic selections with Agneta Falk. And so having been a little bit removed from the editor process of it, to see this book kind of from the point of view of the reader and also part designer, I'm very, very proud of this work collectively as a whole. And I think that, you know, Lisbit and everybody, Sarah and, you know, John and Bobby have spoken to this, that really has this collective voice feeling to it. And I remember my brother, he's also a poet. He lives in Sacramento. He read the anthology last year, and he just said to me, "Brother, all the poems, they're so heavy. I have a hard time getting through it sometimes because the poems are so dense, and so some of them are so sad." And this year's, I felt like, was a mixture of rejoicing and the grief and the sorrow of the revolutionary struggle, but also the ultimate reward that we're all working hard for. So.
That was so wonderful. Thank you guys for coming and sharing your words. I'm going to do another reading from this anthology with a whole different group of people. You could select people from this in all kinds of random ways, and it's always sort of random. And I guess that's kind of why I asked editors how they pick things. But it's a remarkable piece. I'm really grateful for it. There are a lot of people who read tonight who have new books out, and I didn't really give you a chance to talk about that, but look them up. They have new books. Thank you, John Smalley. Thank you, San Francisco Public Library. Judy's being pointed at. Did you have something to say? Honey, do you want to say something? Judy? There you go.
Hurrah.
Hurrah.
Hurrah. Hurrah for the editors. Hurrah for the poets. Wonderful, wonderful poetry. And it's a great book.
It really is. All right, guys, give yourselves a hand. Audience, poets, hosts, everybody. It's always a huge privilege for me to read in Ohlone territory. Thanks for everybody being here. We'll see you next month.
Thank you, Kim.
Please come again next month, second Thursday of each month.
I want to hear Kim
to
next
all our
time.
viewers. Thank
Oh,
you,
that.
Kim. Thanks to the YouTube folks.
Wonderful reading. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kim.
Wonderful. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
I'll be out of the reading, I guess.